Well, welcome back to Channel Ron. Today I'm going to be working on a radio that I found on the side of the road. This is the time of year that people are cleaning out their basements and their garages and they're just throwing stuff out. I brought it home, I plugged it in, and it's a relatively simple problem. Let's see if I can get it to turn on. The contacts that are used to turn it on from radio, CD, and tape, it's dirty. And so if I wiggle a little bit, it will come in on one side or the other. And the other problem is the tuner. The tuner itself is dirty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this down. I'm going to clean the contacts, put it back together, and we should be all set. Along with that, I'm going to kind of wipe it all down. So let's go ahead and get started on my free radio. Alright, and just like anything having to do with electricity, you want to make sure it's unplugged before you start disassembling it. Now I'm not going to go through the entire steps of disassembling this. All you need to know is you need to get it apart. So make sure that you have a long enough screwdriver to get to everything, and go ahead and start removing all the screws. I can see right now, oh there we go. Remove all the screws. Remember how it all comes apart. If you're not sure of it, just like in some of my other videos, go ahead and take pictures. Alright, got a little problem here. My screwdriver is not long enough, but luckily I have a long one. So hopefully I can use this to get the screws out. Problem is there's a lot of dirt down in there. Alright, I think I got them all out, so let's go ahead and see if it'll come apart. I can see we're going to want to have a little air and a vacuum cleaner to blow some of the stuff out. And what I'm more interested in is the tuner, which is right there, and this switch, which is deep inside the unit here. So we're going to take it apart a little bit further. I'm going to go ahead and unplug the speakers because I can, and I'll take this over into my other shop, and I'll clean that all up before I put it back on. Okay, there's the top. That came off pretty good. Try to remember where the screws go. This is the same thing. There's nothing here electronic. It's really dirty, and if I can get the rest of this to work okay, I might go ahead and get this all cleaned up as well. Put that out of the way. Alright, now we are into where the switch is. And this is the problem I've had right here. Oh, I like this. I like this switch already. This is a slide switch. Alright, so what it is the switch itself, it's exposed. What's nice about that slide switch is we can spray some contact cleaner down inside there. It's not so good if this is left out in the rain, but if I spray some contact cleaner in there, that might take care of that problem. So I know I have a tuner issue as well, but I'm going to try that first before I go any further. So I'm going to go ahead and take my contact cleaner. This is a quick dry electronic cleaner. This is what I've used over the years. Works pretty good. There's all kinds of stuff out there on the market. So let's go ahead and spray some cleaner down inside there. Move that back and forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. Let's go ahead and hook our speakers back up. See if we can do this. Very carefully. Let's plug it back in. Okay, so it already acts different. See, I can wiggle that, it's not making a lot of noise. That's awesome. And that is, what do we got here for controls? We have tape, radio, and then CD. All right, so, oh yeah, this is great. This is great. So we can try to tune it in because this has got problems. All right. We know we've taken care of this problem because if you remember right, all I had to do was just touch that and it'd be all kinds of static. So go ahead and unplug it. Let's disconnect our speaker. And let's jump into the tuner part of it now, which is here. Now, the problem with these tuners, if they're sealed, we may not be able to get anything inside that. So this is going to be a little tricky. So let's go ahead and remove the tuner. Get that screw out of there so I don't lose it. Alright, so here's the tuner, and these contacts in here are dirty. Alright, so this is the little plastic cover that goes over the tuner, and now I can get in there with my contact cleaner and really blast that. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing we did before. We're just going to set this down, and I'm just going to set this up like this very carefully. Plug our speaker back in, speakers back in. Let's see. In fact, I could probably might be able to get away with just leaving everything like this. All right. Go ahead and plug the power back in. Being careful not to touch anything. This gets a little tricky, especially when you're trying to film it. Alright, I'm just gonna set this here maybe. Just plug it in. Oh yeah. Look at that. It's not making all the noise it was before. I can tune it right in. Both of the speakers are working. Yeah. Working great.
In oil.
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
I don't understand.
Sounds great.
Your snack nuts are fried
Yeah,
in
sounds
oil.
fantastic. So, perfect. Okay, so that's all there was to it. Just had to clean it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to spray a little bit more contact cleaner on this switch and the tuner. Blow it all out, clean it all up as best I can, and I'm really not caring about the CD player and the cassette, but I'll go ahead and blast that stuff as well. You know, might as well while I'm right here, but not really worried about that. I took it over to my shop and I blew a lot of the dust out. I'm happy with the way it came out, so I'm not going to go any further than that. So now what we need to do is put everything back together. I sprayed the tuner one more time, so I'm going to go ahead and put the little plastic protective unit back over it and seal that up. And it was a couple of tabs there that you just kind of push down to kind of lock it in place. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the tuner back in, just like we took it out. Make sure you remember the same screws. They're not all going to come apart this easily. Just kind of keep that in mind. This is coming apart and it's going back together relatively easy. They don't all do that. All right, there it is. So let's go ahead, plug it in. Yeah. Turn it on. Oh yeah. Yeah. Working great. Both speakers are working good. No problems at all. Tone's working. Volume's working. All right, everything is all set. Well, there it is. Not a whole lot to it. You just got to take it apart, get yourself some contact cleaner. I cleaned up the switch, I cleaned up the tuner, and now I've got a nice little shop radio that I can move around the yard, move around my shop, or whatever it is that I'm working on. And I got it for free. Well, I hope this helps you with your radio tuner switch problem, and stay tuned for the next one.